So this is a quick review on how to graph ordered pairs and how to label the Cartesian plane. It's important before that we do scatter plots that you understand and review how to be able to graph points. So a couple of things on this screen just to talk about. The Cartesian plane is just the plane that's used to graph. It's made up of two perpendicular lines, a horizontal one called the x-axis and a vertical one called the y-axis. And those two lines meet at a point called the origin. And we're going to go through this in a second and we'll label all of the areas on the Cartesian plane. When you have the two lines meeting, you're going to create four quadrants, and on the next page we're going to label each quadrant. The other thing to remember about the Cartesian plane is how to plot points. Whenever you plot points, such as this one, 4, 2, the first number is the x-coordinate, and the second number is the y-coordinate. And it's really, really important not to forget the order. So one of the quick ways to remember it is that it's alphabetical. So x comes first, comma, y comes second. So that means when you're graphing a point, you're always going to move left or right first, and then you're going to move up or down. The other thing that's important another thing to remember, sometimes it's confusing to remember which axis is which. So last year, one of the students I taught came up with a little saying. So her saying was, y to the sky. So that way she remembered that the y-axis was the vertical one. So it rhymes really nicely. So if you find that helpful, please use that. So y to the sky, y is the vertical one. So now let's actually look at a Cartesian plane. So this is what a Cartesian plane looks like, and we're going to label a few of the things. So the first things that we're going to label are the x and y axis. Normally when you label those, you put a little x on the right-hand side and a y at the top. And so that's how we're going to label our x and our y axis. Then we're going to put a dot at the origin. So remember, the origin is where the two lines meet. So that is called the origin. The coordinates of the origin are 0, 0. Next, we're going to label the four quadrants. So quadrant 1 starts in the upper right-hand corner. There's quadrant 1. Quadrant 2 is the upper left. Quadrant 3, bottom left. And quadrant 4, bottom right. Finally, we're going to plot some of these points. So the first point is the point 3, 5. So to do that, we're going to start at the origin. We're going to move to the right 3, and then we're going to move up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to put a little dot, and we'll label it 3, 5. The next point is -2, 4. So again, we start at the origin. This time we're going to move 2 to the left, -2, and then up 4. And we'll end up right there. -2, 4. Finally, -3, 4. So we're going to move left 3 units, down 4 units. So you're going to end up there at -3, -4. And last but not least, 4, -1, you're going to move to the right 4 units, and you're going to move down 1 unit. And that's the point 4, -1. Another thing that's useful to know is in quadrant 1, your x-coordinate and your y-coordinate are both positive. So that one is positive, positive. In quadrant 2, your x is negative because you're moving to the left, but your y is still positive. In quadrant 3, both your x and your y are negative. And in quadrant 4, your x is positive, but your y is negative. And that is basically everything you need to know about the Cartesian plane. Don't forget, when you're graphing points, move left or right first, always x first, then move up or down second, the y comes second.